Good morning, I'm Adam Harris, and this is the day ahead. Don't forget to click subscribe below to receive daily market analysis videos and important alerts. On the economic calendar for today, we have Markit PMI data out of the EU at 9 a.m. And in the currencies, the US dollar is expected to strengthen initially, pushing the euro lower. In the commodities, gold and silver show clear signs of exhaustion, but the oils look to climb higher, which is the same for the global indices and equities, where the bulls are very much in control across the board. You can jump to any chapter by clicking on the time link in the description below. So then having a look at the currencies first, and this is the US dollar index almost producing a swing low there, which would imply if we do and we just go past that 96.50 level today, we should see then a bit more strengthening of that US dollar against a lot of the other currencies. FOMC last night deciding the flavor of that really being deciding to put rate changes on hold for the time being, as opposed to the previous policy, which was to increase rates over time. So that may well shift the US dollar's appeal. If we have a look here at a euro against the US dollar, we see it's come back into that previous level of support over here and is encountering potential resistance. So at first I really want to see how it breaks the low or the high, the low or the high of yesterday's candle. If it breaks the low first, I'll be looking to see it head back down to that 1.13 level and lower, so expecting there to see at least initially seeing a stronger US dollar. Cable here, just almost also producing a swing low, a swing high, beg your pardon. So looking to see if we do break the low of yesterday first. All of those really giving me clues as to what the slightly medium term playouts of that US dollar is going to be. And here we've got dollar yen just trickling to the upside, still has to get through this level of resistance. If it breaks past that 111 level, then that would also support the idea of a stronger US dollar. Then Aussie Kiwi, it looks as though it's pretty much given me the signal that I've been waiting for. So a breakthrough of this level of support has come back and is currently printing a bearish candle. So I need to see how this closes tonight. But if it pretty much closes as it is now, that will be my entry signal for a potential trade to the downside. Breakthrough of resistance and a breakthrough of support and a retest of resistance. Momentum indicators looking nice and bearish there. In the commodities on the move, looking at gold. Gold hasn't yet connected with this 1350 level. That is still to come, but already showing some potential resistance here, starting to slow down a little bit, and again also maybe producing a bit of a swing high. We haven't broken the low of yesterday yet, but also at some point it'd be nice to see price pull back and test this level of support. There's still very clear bearish divergence here. We've got lower highs on the MACD and fresh highs on price. We haven't connected with 1350 yet, so I do think ultimately that's going to have a bigger reversal when we finally do. So we might find price pulls down, heads back up. There'll be a stronger rejection candle and it'll head down a lot further. But also looking there is just some signs of a stronger US dollar today. Silver as well, having produced a slightly higher high off that 1620 level, definitely a lower high in the MACD, and also bearish candle, quite a bit of bearish movement already early on in the day. If we break the low of yesterday's candle, we'll see that swing high come into play, see this head lower. So also this showing signs, very strong likelihood of in the near future, over the coming weeks at least, looking at those heading lower, and that will support a stronger US dollar. Palladium coming into 1480. Little bit of a rejection there, not a very bearish candle, but also an indecision candle. Currently it's overextended. This is definitely due for a healthy pullback, and so just looking to see if that ends up being what we end up getting here in terms of that. Crude oil continuing to play high. So crude oil and oil in general looking nice and bullish. You can see these levels of support here. If there are any pullbacks into those, right now we only had a pullback into the previous high, but looking to continue. So this actually may end up being a swing entry long for me, so I'll have a look at that again tonight. This might actually be that first entry into this to continue on higher, but looking nice and bullish. Let's have a look at Brent oil. Brent oil, same thing, ticking on and heading up through this level. It's passed through already, heading up to the next level, which is actually 1950, and looking to see it continue up through that today. So all of that not really indicate giving away anything about a US dollar, but more about stronger oil. They're expecting that to continue higher. So really, if I was going to sum up the global indices for the moment, or at least the sentiment of it, it is bullish. It looks to continue higher. We've got Wall Street here sitting between levels of support and resistance, and looking nice and bullish, having pulled back, found support yesterday, and looking to tick on upwards here. So that's not really impacted here by that stronger US dollar. This is the sentiment overall, and breaking through this level of resistance to continue higher on S&P 500. It's the same if I just run through all of them from the US in the east. as well as heading in towards Asia in the west, about the US in the west and heading towards Asia in the east, then I can see that all of it is pretty much bullish. We've got the FTSE 100 coming back, UK here, sitting on support. Nice bullish candle. If we break the high of that, that looks good to continue. Wouldn't be doing that if it was inherently weak. Germany 30 breaking through. We now have a weekly uptrend on the DAX, so that's supporting that weakness because that was also quite bearish, so that's a significant change. We've got the Hang Seng, the Hong Kong, also just continuing upwards, having broken through its level of resistance, so that looking good to continue up to its next level of resistance. And then we've got Australia 200, nice strong bullish candle pushing through its historical levels, expecting that to continue on high. So bullish pretty much across the board there. My expectation for today is to see those continue upwards. With the equities in focus, I'm looking to see how that bullishness from the indices translates through to this, but we've got some bullish signals here. I've got buy signal on Facebook in the moving averages, looking to see if that becomes a swing low today, and that becomes my buy entry into that. Having a look at a few of the others, Apple's still within this range, finding some good support here. I believe it'll accelerate once it breaks through this level of resistance. So looking to see that ultimately head higher today as well. Also a higher low here and a swing low. So this may be potentially being a signal for it to head higher, at least in the shorter term. Then having a look at, say, Microsoft. So Microsoft steadily starting to break out of this, with this bullish pattern breaking out and upwards. This is a pullback into that level of support and resistance. I'm looking at this as a potential swing low. So I could put my entry either above the previous swing high here, my stop loss conservatively below these lows, or more aggressively just above the high here with my stop loss just below the low of this candle. So I'm looking at that as a potential entry today if price breaks higher. Then having a look at, say, Boston Scientific, price pulling back into the moving average as well as this level of resistance and support. Bullish candle here. This may well end up being a re-entry into that uptrend as it heads a little bit higher. Now is where it gets really interesting. Having a look at the more bearish equities on my list, EasyJet having a very strong day yesterday, now starting to create fresh highs, and that looking to continue upwards. Barclays also a nice strong bullish day yesterday. Nice uptrend, high lows, high highs on the daily, expecting that to continue higher. Standard Chartered, which was on my list within this range, I was looking for it to find support here, but it actually looks as though it's getting ready to climb and get back to that level. And if it does, certainly once it breaks above the higher level here at 640, I expect it to accelerate and head higher, but for now looking to get back over that line. I'm quite happy to see that. And Lloyd's Banking supporting the idea of the overall bullishness of the market with a very, very strong day yesterday, breaking previous weekly swing highs on the way down. This now starting to break through that weekly downtrend and starting to head a lot higher. Definitely supporting bullish sentiment, and so I do expect in the medium term, expect the markets to climb at least until we get into the old highs and see if the bears are strong enough back then to get a very strong rejection. But for now, definitely the bulls very much in control. And on that note, ladies and gents, I want to wish you a wonderful day. If it's trending, I'll be there. Just a reminder to hit the subscribe button. If you want to stay abreast of what's happening in the market, I'll be producing and bringing you the latest in the markets every morning in a freshly produced video.